Christian said that you called his touchdown in the huddle on the end around. What can you kind of take us through that situation?
I expected them to play some man coverage, so at the last second I ran over the sideline to verify we weren't in a Rolex situation where we wanted to not score. And I think Matt was maybe a little surprised by the question. I said, hey, if this comes out the gate, do you want him to score or not? I don't know. He said score. I might have said go down first and score. So I just came in and said, don't worry about going down after this thing comes out the gate. When I came off the, handoff to the fake to AJ, and I felt like the whole side of the line was over there, I figured it was probably going to be a good play.
Aaron, I know you can't go back in time, but if you'd have had him playing like this from the get-go, how different could things have been for you guys as an offense?
Yeah, that's a hard game to play, Rob. I don't really enjoy that one a whole lot, but he's playing really, really well. He's catching the ball all the time now. I wouldn't say the technique has really changed a whole lot, but as a former receiver used to say, with an odd catching style, results. He's made a lot of catches. He hasn't dropped anything, so it's been good.
Who was that former receiver?
Jeff Janis.
I knew you were going to say that.
You guys are still you're still swimming upstream for the rest of the season as far as playoffs and all that go. Winning feels great in the moment. Does this win anything more than just feeling great in the moment?
The win against the Bears is always a little more special. There was other things involved. The all-time win total was cool. Another fourth quarter comeback. I told the guys in the locker room, we played good enough to beat anybody in the league, and at times played poor enough to lose just about anybody. Our highs have been pretty solid. This was a different Bears team. Obviously, Jalen is a super talented player, but a lot of young guys playing outside of that, other than 36. But they got a talented quarterback who's got a chance to be around for a long time. Really good running back, stud young receiver, EQ making plays. So it was a competitive game, but definitely didn't want to be walking in here losing to the Bears. It's been a nice 8 straight for us.
What are the ribs in the home field?
Yeah, the line played really good today. I moved around a decent amount, held on the ball at times, and I went to the ground one time. So that's like a dream game for somebody in my position with a pretty sore rib cage. I feel good going to the bye week that maybe both these things will be behind me.
Aaron, there were a few plays where you had a lot of time to throw and couldn't find anybody. With the Bears, with some of those guys they had that you probably weren't too familiar with, how much credit do they get for kind of making it a little bit tougher?
They did, yeah. They played a lot of coverage, a lot of too high, mixed some coverage up, played some, held the shell till the very end most of the time. But again, Jalen is a premier player. But the other young guys played pretty well, so you got to give them credit. There was, multiple times where it felt like getting out of the pocket, somebody's going to come open and scramble drill, and they locked down our guys. So they definitely deserve some credit for that.
Aaron, you got a lot to think about once the season ends, but will Christian's rapid development factor into that at all? Just the promise of a pretty bright future?
Yeah, I left Cal, and I could have came back with Deshaun Jackson at receiver and Marshawn Lynch in the backfield. I don't regret it because things have turned out pretty well, but that's that would have been interesting playing with those two guys. Played Marshawn for a year, but I say that because the way that Christian's developed, you definitely got to feel good organization with his development. It's a rapid, wild development that it's hard to think about another player who goes from being kind of here and there, minimal production to go-to type player, home run player. He had 2, 60-plus yard touchdowns, it seems like. Last week, catch and run on a short one, and then end around. Pretty special. So it all factor into it, but there's got to be mutual desire on both sides.
Aaron, on the third down pass, I think it was Tunyon in the end zone. Were you looking for pass interference? I think it was on Sanborn covering him. Was that what you were looking for?
It appeared from where I was at that he might have gotten tugged, but listen, the way they ref the game, there was very little penalties the entire game. There's probably a couple that could have been called. Seemed like one on our sideline to Jonesy, maybe that one. But, yeah, I mean, Bobby said he got tugged, but must not have been big enough for Terrence to throw the flag back there.
At the start of that drive, that was. Did you feel like that was your chance? Was there any particular message? I know you've been in that situation many times, but after the way the Bears have defended you, was there anything you said to just inspire your team or whatever to, this is the opportunity? Did anything special about that particular moment of the game?
Well, I mean, I don't think it was anything they were doing. They were playing soft and playing coverage, and we had basically 2 drives stall out with a false start and a negative 6-yard run. So it wasn't like, we were struggling on offense. I just feel like we, had some third and extra longs and didn't convert them. But the urgency goes up. I think the most important play probably of the game was me just settling in the progression from an offense standpoint and throwing the ball on the left sideline to Christian on 3rd and 7. Down 19-10, because right before the fourth quarter, and that kind of settled things down. And then we put together a nice drive. Got a touchdown, got a stop, and then put together a field goal, and obviously a big interception. And very nice play call by Matt. Love it that he trusted us to go for 2 there to put that thing away as well.
Even with how things have gone this season and started this game, is there ever a thought in your head throughout this game, intangibly, not with anything that's going on in the game, like it's me against the Bears, it's Packers against Bears, everything's going to work out?
Yeah, I mean, it has over the years, so you definitely draw a lot of confidence and good memories off of, this matchup. We've had a tremendous amount of success during my time against them. I've enjoyed playing here, a lot of great memories here. Over the years, obviously won the NFC Championship here and hit Cobby in 13 on a big play and Jordy in 16 on a big play. And been a special rivalry that I've been able to be a part of. And there was probably a lot of people that felt good at 19-10. So did I.
Speaking of that, I mean, you outscored 18-0 in the fourth quarter.
What
clicked for your group?
Well, we got the ball to 9. He hadn't really been involved a whole lot. I think he had just 1 catch for the touchdown. And we hit him on that 3rd and 7 play. It got the drive going, and then obviously the last touchdown was to him as well. So they did, with their coverages and Jalen. Basically, anytime he was on Jalen, it was man with some help, and anytime he was on the opposite side, they were, for the most part, clouding it. We had the 1 ball that. We had pass interference on. That was a big play to him. So he really had 3 or 4 pretty big impact plays. And that's kind of, crazy enough, that's kind of been the standard for him.
What do you think of how AJ ran the ball today?
Yeah, I thought he ran the ball great. He's been a good cold weather runner for us, going back to his rookie year against Tennessee. But he's a tough tackle. He doesn't go down easy. And he seems, last couple of weeks, he's had a guy on him in like the 5 and just can't get him down. So he's also got really good hands. And he had a couple nice catch and runs today. He's just, he's a really solid football player, and I mean that with the most respect possible and most gratitude and credit to him for the way that he shows up.
To Matt's question about being the Bears, it was a pretty meaningful to you when you passed the Bears in this series. So how about this now that you've passed the Bears all time as a guy who likes the history of the game? What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I think that's part of the legacy. You always want to leave the place you're at better than you found it. And right now we flipped the all-time series. We flipped the all-time wins. I've had a lot of success against them, so I think in a few years you look back and you feel pretty good about your contributions to the rivalry.
We know Ja doesn't lack confidence. How big was it after he gets a couple plays beating him and then he just steps in front of that play and really helps seal it?
Yeah, that was huge. He's a really, really talented player, and at times I think he doesn't get a lot of work. So he got a little bit of work today. But in the most important moments, he came up big. And then I want to single out Key as well. He's been so important for us, changing the kicking game. for a long time here, and I don't mean this as disrespect, but it's just the facts. For a long time, when that ball's up in the air on kickoff, I'm thinking, stay in, don't bring it out. There's just not a lot of good stuff happened. But I always tell Key now when he's about to go out there, I said, bring it out. Bring that out. It's because he brings an extra type of juice to our football team. And you can win with guys like that, guys that care about it, guys that are tough, and guys that make big-time plays. And Key had a nice interception to close that thing off. It's a 9-point game, but there's still a lot of things that can happen at that time. They still have multiple timeouts. They can kick a field goal, an onside kick, and Key closed that thing out. So he's the type of player I wish I'd had over the course of my career, because you feel real good going to battle with a guy like that.
In the fourth quarter, how much does that speak to just kind of momentum taking over for the game for you guys?
Yeah, fourth quarter is winning time, and we played our best in the fourth quarter today. Put together, some really nice drives on offense and had 2 big stops. Thankfully, I didn't have any turnovers today, which unfortunately hasn't been the norm. So we didn't turn it over, and we got 3 back. I don't think we've been +3 all year long. Tom could probably tell me. Probably not. So that was obviously what gave us the opportunity to win the game.
Putting your medical degree to use, Aaron, how do you figure your 2 injuries are going to be here in 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think my thumb is close to being a non-issue. I'm able to go back to taking a snap the old way, which has been really nice. And the ribs will be close, probably.
We didn't see any shouting into the crowd or anything today, but do you think the performance today keeps your ownership?
Yes.
A
lot of middle fingers.
You did give a nice salute after you got sealed with a 2-point conversion. What was the thought when you were in that moment?
You never know when it's going to be your last time playing at a place. I've had a lot of great moments in this place, and as much as the fans don't really like me, I do have respect for the city of Chicago and they're great sports fans here and this stadium. It's been a lot of fun over the years to go to battle, win or lose. There's some really cool, Chicago moments. Colby Calais did a national anthem back in 2010 with, a guy on a ukulele. That's a cool moment, Just night game, the energy, the guy, the baritone that sings, that opera voice, those are cool moments. The little in-between timeout stuff that they do here. I'm not crazy about that song. It gets a little old, but there's a lot of cool things about this sports town and this city and this stadium, and I've enjoyed playing here.
Play call on the 2-pointer, was that at your suggestion?
There were a couple. Anytime you really love a play, once you hear it, you just go yes right away and then start jogging. So there's not any conversation past that, but we'd had this play and we worked on a little bit. And every time in practice, the ball gone to Christian, kind of coming down in quick motion and going back in the flat. However, there were some looks on film with Big Dog coming, kind of free on the backside. So I figured, let's go for 2 here, go up by 9, put the game away. Matt was on the fence, and him and Rich were having a back and forth. I was happy that he called timeout, and then we got to go out there and do that. Once I heard that play call, I was like, yep, that's it. And then, obviously Big Dog came wide open.
And on Watson's touchdown, Sammy was the outside receiver on the left, and you've been the outside receiver in the E.J. Dillon touchdown too, right? Were you worried at all that, they pick up on that you weren't using Sammy very much, but you put him in as a run blocker? You even think about that?
I didn't. We're playing against a lot of young guys today. So, maybe some more veteran players might have been clued in, maybe a little more with that. But that play has a lot of misdirection in it. Lines all going to the right. I'm handing the ball off and carrying out an action fake to the right as well, with Christian coming out the back door. It's a good play that we had kind of queued up for a certain type of coverage. And in pre-snap, we got the coverage, so I was just trying to not screw that one up. And once I hand the ball off, I knew that something good was going to happen.